Welcome to The Creative Missionary, the podcast for songwriters, vocalists, storytellers, and artists who believe their gifts are more than just self-expression. They're tools for God's mission. Today, we're diving into a powerful theme from the Lausanne Movement, the critical role of Christian artists and musicians in missions. For too long, missions has been imagined as preaching, teaching, or church planting. But the Lausanne Movement reminds us that world evangelization cannot happen without empowering artists and musicians. Why? Because art and music reach the heart in ways words alone cannot. The Lausanne Global Analysis puts it in this way. When new believers come to Christ, especially in cultures where low literacy is, the question is not just what do they believe, but how will they express it? It is a question of the artistic expression of one's faith, which is directly linked to the culture and language of one's mother tongue. For example, in Bolivia, when an entire village of ranch workers came to faith, missionaries didn't just hand them imported hymns or hymnals. Instead, they encouraged them to write their own songs in their own style. And as a result, worship that was authentic, heartfelt, and deeply rooted in their culture. This is what the Lausanne Movement calls indigenous Christian community formation, when faith is expressed through local music, art, ritual, and storytelling. So without local artists, worship risks feeling foreign. And when we have local artists shape the expressions of worship feel like home to those specific groups or cultures. Taking a little closer look at the global role of music and arts. Across the globe, music is the most universal form of communication. In many cultures, it's the primary way people learn, remember, and celebrate. Lausanne notes that in places where literacy is low, discipleship often happens through songs, drama, dance, and storytelling. We know art isn't just art, it's evangelism, discipleship, and community formation. And here's the deeper truth. God himself is creative. The Bible begins with creation, and throughout Scripture we see music, poetry, and art woven into worship. For example, the Psalms were essentially a worship playlist for Israel. And prophets in the Bible use symbolic acts and metaphorical imagery to communicate God's messages. So when Christian artists create songs, motion pictures, and so on, they're not just making art, they're reflecting the Creator and joining him in his mission. So what does this mean for you? If you're a songwriter, a musician, or storyteller, first, you need to create in your own voice. Don't just copy some popular artist out there. Have it in your own voice, reflecting your culture, your people, and your own story. Second, you need to think missionally. Every song, every painting, every story can be a seed of the gospel. Third, serve others with your art. Let your prime motivator be to serve the world with creativity, not for the world to serve your need for the likes or the subscribers. The Lausanne Movement reminds us, evangelization is not complete without the arts. Christian artists and musicians are not the sidelines of mission. They are at the very heart of it. So if God has given you creative gifts, don't underestimate them. Use them, share them, and let them become the vessel for God's mission in your community and beyond. Thanks for joining me on The Creative Missionary. If today's episode inspired you, please subscribe for more and share it with a fellow creative in your church or network who needs a reminder that their creative gifts matter and that creativity is for a purpose far greater than just self-expression. It's for God's mission. That's all for now. Keep creating, keep serving, and keep carrying the mission forward.